Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So you're gearing up for your Class A CDL, and you know that vehicle inspection can feel like a monster of a test. Well, today, we're going to change that. We're taking that official manual and turning it into a playbook you can actually use. Our goal, not just to help you ace the test, but to build the habits of a real pro from day one. Let's dive in.
So, let me start by asking you a question. Picture it. You're behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound machine. What do you think is the single most critical moment of your entire drive? Is it merging onto that crazy busy highway? Trying to navigate a super tight city street? Or maybe, just maybe, it's backing into a dock that looks absolutely impossible?
You know, it's none of those. It's actually the part that happens before you've even put the key in the ignition. Your pre-trip inspection, that's not just some box you have to check to pass a test. No way. It's the safety mission that sets the tone for your entire journey.
And to make sure you get this right, we're going to break it all down into 5 simple parts. We'll start with the mission itself. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the critical fifth wheel, connect the lifelines that power the trailer, cover the other support and safety systems, and finally, we'll talk about how to put it all together to absolutely ace your test. So first up, your pre-trip inspection mission. This is really about understanding the stakes. We're not just memorizing a list of parts here. We're talking about taking on the huge responsibility that comes with driving a combination vehicle.
To really nail this, you have to burn this into your brain. I call it the examiner's mantra. For every single part you check, you have to do these 3 things, in this order. You name it, you physically point to it, and you explain it. Explain what you're looking for. Name it, point to it, explain it. That right there, that's the whole ballgame.
Okay, let's get to the heart of the matter. Literally the heart of the connection, the critical fifth wheel. This is hands down the single most important connection on your entire rig. And trust me, your examiner is going to be watching how you inspect this very, very closely. So what is this thing really? Well, think of the fifth wheel as the super strong, heavy-duty link that locks your tractor and trailer together. It's built to do 2 main jobs. First, support the massive weight of the trailer's front end, and second, let the whole rig pivot so you can actually make turns safely.
Now, when you inspect it, you're calling out a few key things. You're saying out loud that you see no cracks or damage, that there are no missing bolts or pins. You state that it's properly greased up. But the really big ones, the ones you have to physically check, are these. You confirm the locking jaws are completely wrapped around the kingpin, that the release arm is all the way in the locked position, and, this one is huge, that there is 0 gap between the trailer's apron and the fifth wheel skid plate. None.
And why does that all matter so much? The manual puts it pretty bluntly. A failure here can literally cause the trailer to detach from the tractor while you're driving down the road. The result? It's a catastrophe. This isn't just about passing a test. It's about preventing a real-world disaster.
All right, let's move on to our third section, connecting the lifelines. Once that physical connection is solid, it's time to actually bring the trailer to life. And for that, you need your air and electrical lines. Think of them as the trailer's circulatory and nervous systems.
And they're pretty much what they sound like. The air lines, which you'll hear called glad hands, they carry all the compressed air from your tractor back to power the trailer's brakes. The electrical line, or the pigtail, that powers up all the lights, your brake lights, turn signals, all the markers, everything.
And inspecting these is very hands-on. You want to actually run your hands along the lines, feeling for any cuts or bad spots. You're checking the slack, too. You need enough so they don't get pinched in a tight turn, but not so much that they're dragging on the catwalk. And then check the connections themselves. Make sure the glad hand seals look good and that the electrical plug is seated nice and tight. So here's the bottom line. You're looking for 2 totally different dangers. If you lose air, you lose your trailer brakes. That's bad. Catastrophically bad. If you lose electricity, your trailer goes completely dark. No brake lights, no signals. You basically become a ghost on the road and nobody around you has any idea what you're doing. Both are scenarios you absolutely have to avoid. Okay, moving right along to Section 4, Support and Safety Systems. So beyond that main connection and the lifelines, there are a few other essential parts you gotta check to make sure your combination is safe. First up, the landing gear. This one's simple but super important. You have to make sure it's raised all the way up, otherwise it could smack the ground or even the tractor frame when you turn. The crank handle needs to be stowed away securely. And of course, you're just giving it a good look over to make sure nothing is broken, bent, or missing. Next, let's talk about reflective tape. Yeah, I know, it might seem like a small detail, but it's a required safety system.
All you need to do is confirm that it's clean and there aren't any big chunks missing. Because at night, that tape is the only thing stopping another driver from turning right into the side of your trailer because they couldn't see how long it was.
Now, while the fifth wheel is the big one for a Class A test, you do need to know about other systems. If you happen to be testing with something like a pintle hook or a simple ball and hitch, the idea is exactly the same. You're inspecting for damage, for serious wear and tear, and you're making sure every locking device and safety chain is totally secure and in place.
All right, let's bring this all home. Our final section, Ace Your Inspection Test. This is all about taking everything we've talked about and showing that examiner you have the confidence and knowledge of a true professional. Now, let's be absolutely crystal clear on the rules of the road for the test. You have to do the three-step process, name it, point to it, explain it. You can use the official vehicle inspection checklist as a guide, but, and this is a big one, it has to be a totally clean copy. No extra notes, no highlights, no markings whatsoever. And, this really gets to the whole point of the exercise. The manual says the goal is to connect the details to real operating decisions. This isn't just about memorizing stuff for a test. It's about understanding that a cracked airline isn't just a point you lose. It's a reason you don't drive that truck until it's fixed. It's about building that professional mindset.
So the real question here isn't just, can you pass the test? It's, can you make this inspection a reflex, a part of who you are as a driver? Because look, the test might last 30 minutes, but the mindset of a pro, the person who catches the tiny problem before it becomes a disaster on the highway, that lasts a lifetime. So are you ready to prove you're a pro?